Hey everyone, welcome back to the course. In the last video, we set up our variables and references. Now it's time to add more to our PlayerPrefs manager script by creating the data manipulation and save load methods. Let's hop into it. Okay, before we jump into any scripting, I want to give a quick overview of what we're going to be doing in this video. And that is we're going to be making some methods here that are actually going to allow the changes of our int value, float value, and our string. And then we're also going to be making the methods for the save and load. So let's go ahead and jump in. So if you're not already, go into your scripts folder in the PlayerPrefs manager, double click that so it's open. And I did notice I did make a mistake in the last video that you need to put a F after this 0 and then also put a U after this P in your header string input. And if you got those, you are a great programmer. So now to make it easier when we're changing the values, and if we ever want to change the values, we're going to want to make a variable for the add int for say, or the add float. So we're going to do that here. Private int add int. I cannot spell. And we're going to make this 1. And then we're going to do a private float add float equal to 1.5 so we can get that float value. We don't have to do anything for the string. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our increment float value here. We do need to make this a public method so that game objects are able to access this script. So we'll do a public void increment int here. And then in the script, we will do int counter, compound assignment operator here. And we'll do int counter plus our add int. And then to make it easier for ourselves in the future, we will be making a commented out section of this for update int UI. There we go. And I'm going to make this easier on myself. I'm just going to copy this and go ahead and just paste that in here. We're just going to need to change a few things such as the int to float. And then instead of int counter, hold Alt to select another area of the script and just add float. And then we need to do add float here instead. I guess we should also change that as well. So everything here should say float and there should be no int. And then we need to add our onString change. So if I paste in here, public void onString change, let's walk through this. So if string input is not null, meaning it exists, and string display is not null, meaning it exists and something's assigned to it, that means the string input.text is going to be assigned to the string display.text. So anything in the string input, as you can see here, is the input field, is going to be the value for the string display. That's what the user is going to be able to see. Alrighty, now that we got that, we will be creating our save methods here. And to save some time, I'm going to go ahead and just paste the save data method here and we'll walk through it. So string input text is equal to string input, and then we have the new null conditional operator text, and then we have the else, set it to this. And I know this probably looks very confusing, but I'm going to give you guys the extended version. First, we're creating a string input text and then we're assigning it this value. And what this value is string input text. If the string input is not null, meaning it exists, then the input text is equal to the string input.text. So the string input, remember, the string input is what is inside the input field. Then that means the string input.text is assigned to the input text. Else, if the input text does not exist, then we're just going to assign it the value of this empty string. If you do need any help on this, just feel free to ask in the comments below. And then as mentioned in the earlier part of the course, setInt, setFloat, and setString are used to save keys with their values to the registry or wherever those are saved. And so we have PlayerPrefs.save, which is going to force an immediate write of that data. It's going to save all this data whenever the save data method is called. And then we just have this debug.log message. That way we can see in the console that, yep, data was saved successfully. And then I'm also going to paste the load data method in as well, and we will go over it. So since we just saved the data, we also need to create the load data method so that we can actually pull that data from the registry, for example. And to do that, we're using the .get methods. So .getFlow, .getInt, .getString. This is just pulling the values from the registry. And then if no data exists, then we're going to be using these default values. And then this part of the string is basically to help prevent any crashing in the future. So if string input is not null, meaning it exists, then save string is assigned to the string input.text. So the save string value is assigned to the string input, which if we go back up, then that is what is going to be in the input field, what you're going to be able to see. And then the string display, same thing here. If it is not null, meaning it is assigned, then that means we're going to be taking the save string and then assigning it to the string display. That way you can see it in the UI. And then if there's no issues within this load data, we have a debug.log that is telling us that this ran successfully. That's it for this video. We now have our data manipulation and save load methods that'll help with making changes to our int, float, and string values. In the next video, we'll focus on resetting data by adding methods to clear values and give users the option to start fresh whenever they need. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, or comment below your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.